go. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Here we go. It kills me every time Dak Prescott does that shit. I'm cutting the game short. It's like 6 minutes or 5 minutes left to play. Cowboys just scored a touchdown. Their first red zone touchdown of the day. Thank fucking God. Hunter Licky punched it in. 1 for 4 from the red zone. Red zone struggles are still apparent. Hey, baby, go back in the room. Daddy, go back in the room. Damn, you don't listen. Sorry about that, y'all. That was my daughter. Hunter Limpke punched it in. We were 1 for 4 from the red zone today. But still, 38-3, destroying those New England Patriots. It was fucking fantastic. Let me start off by saying this. When Trayvon Diggs went out for the season with a torn ACL, of course, huge blow. Trayvon Diggs is one of the best corners in the game. But when we were when it was decided that we were going to move DaRon Bland to the outside, I had a weird sense of relief, a weird sense of everything will be okay. And the reason why is because DaRon Bland is a certified baller. He's had 8 interceptions since 2022. He had 5 of them last year. And if you saw DaRon Bland last season, he was all over the place, had 5 picks last season. So when we were going to move him to the outside from the slot, I was like, okay, you know what? We can do this. We'll be all right. Now, last week, of course, I was so pissed from last week. Y'all saw the video. I was angry as hell. Clearly, that was an anomaly. It shouldn't have happened. And the reason why I was so upset was because that should not have happened. I don't care how many offensive linemen you're down. I don't care that Trayvon Diggs went down. You need to beat a team like the Arizona Cardinals no matter what. And then they weren't ready because they were undisciplined, had 13 penalties last week. We were more disciplined this week, obviously. The penalties were crazy. The run defense was crazy. It was lackluster, allowing Arizona 200+ yards rushing. So in this game, everybody was like, okay, Zeke is going to go off. Ramondre Stevenson is going to go off. And look what's going on. Now, of course, they're playing from behind. But we still stymied that run game. So last week was an anomaly. It still shouldn't have happened. But that's old news now. We're destroying on the Patriots this week. Time to move on. And we have to make sure we don't have another game like that again. The red zone issues are still problematic. But Dak Prescott looked good today. He looked good. The offense moved the ball up and down the field against that Bill Belichick defense. Bill Belichick's defense is one of the top defenses in the league. Check the stats. Not making that up. Of course, their rookie corner, Christian Gonzalez, he was out early in the game. And, of course, Matthew Judon, he just left too. And Jabril Peppers. So they've been beaten up back there. But we still move the ball up and down the field on that defense. And then on one of the sack fumbles, LVE, he took it to the house for a fumble recovery for a touchdown. LVE looked better this week. I got to give him props for that. He looked much better this week. He looked a little faster. He looked more in tune. He was more aggressive this game. I'll give him credit. For that. A nice bounce back game for him. I need to see him put it all together next week, a Sunday night against those goddamn 49ers. I can't stand these fucking 49ers fans thinking that they're going to destroy everyone in the league. I cannot stand them for the life of me. I'm tired of them, and I really hope my Cowboys show up next weekend and humble they fucking asses, because I'm tired of them. And, of course, part of my day was ruined because those fucking Eagles came out with an overtime win. Oh, The Redskins should have had that. They should have had that game, man. They should have won that game. Fuck, I'm still pissed about that. But my Cowboys take care of business. Right now it's 38-3, so we outscored the Atlantic Northeast. What, 108-13? So we destroyed the entire Atlantic Northeast thus far, because we still got Buffalo later in the year. But right now, 108-13. 108-13. That's fucking crazy, man. Just destroyed the Atlantic Northeast. Now, of course, the red zone issues are still there. I really, really hope that Mike McCarthy, Brian Schottenheimer, and the rest of that team and that staff can figure out a way to solve these issues. Because last week it showed up big time. It showed up big time. And it would have showed up this time had we not have, two defensive scores. We had the Deron Bland pick for a touchdown, and LVE walked in from the fumble recovery. So we had 2 defensive touchdowns. So it would have been a much closer game had that not happened. And that's when we need the red zone issues. We need those red zone issues to be solved, because if we didn't have that, it would have been apparent. So we still would have won, but it would have been a much bigger issue. And you should have heard the crowd earlier when Hunter Lemke got that touchdown. It's like we were like, oh my God, we got the game-winning touchdown. No, we're still destroying this team. But the Cowboys, everybody knows that the red zone issues have been a glaring point. That's been the box that we haven't been able to check. Every fan knows it. We know it's a problem, and we have to fix it soon. But the defense, they're back to normal. The only thing I can say is it had to have been we just overlooked the Arizona Cardinals. We just overlooked them. Everybody is saying they're the worst team in the league when they've been competitive all season long. They're the worst team this. Cowboys, we were looking ahead to the Patriots. We were looking ahead to the Niners, and we just laid an egg. That was so uncharacteristic of us to give up 200 yards rushing. We went against Saquon Barkley, Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Ramondre Stevenson, and Ezekiel Elliott. We stopped all of those talented running backs, and yet we let James Conner and the Arizona Cardinals run all over us last week. It was an anomaly, and I do not want to see that shit rear its ugly head again. Next week is a true test. We got Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is an MVP candidate. I know that MVP award is basically a quarterback award, but Christian McCaffrey looks so fucking good, man. That's going to be the biggest test for us next week, next Sunday night. We have to figure out a way to take him out of the ball game. We have to put this game into Brock Purdy's hands. And I know Brock Purdy has won his first 9 starts, but I'm still not impressed with Brock Purdy. He fits well into Kyle Shanahan's system. He does. But we've seen other quarterbacks have success in that same system. Okay? So I firmly believe if we put the game in Brock Purdy's hands, we can figure out a way to take out Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. Like if Brandon Ayuk has a game, fine. But if we can cancel out Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, we have a great chance to go into Santa Clara next week and win that game. And if we win that game, we'll get everybody off our fucking backs. Now, of course, we deserved everything we got from last week. We laid an egg. We deserve it. But everybody is like, oh, you had pundits on Fox and ESPN saying, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys lose the next 3 games, lose 3 in a row. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Now, I was pissed over last week's performance, but to say that we're going to lose the next 3? Are you kidding me? That is absurd. That is absurd to say something like that. Saying that, like, I have my issues with Dak Prescott, But when people come over here and say shit like Dak Prescott is not even a top 15 quarterback and this and that, I'm like, bruh, stop it, okay? Stop it. Stop it. Everybody knows I have my issues with Dak Prescott, but he is a top 10 quarterback. He's a bona fide top 10 quarterback. The criticism last week from everybody else and the jokes and the trolling was just out of this world. And people like to do that because it's the Cowboys. I get it. But it was completely unwarranted. Completely unwarranted. To say some shit like Dak Prescott is not a top 15 quarterback or the Cowboys are going to lose the next 3 games. That is asinine to say some shit like that. You can be a hater, but goddamn, don't say no dumb shit like that. So you're just going to ignore that they destroyed the entire state of New York 70-10? Are you going to ignore that? Just because they laid an egg last week does not mean that's indicative of what the team is. It's not. The thing is, there are a couple of games that the Eagles should have lost, but they won. And they're going to get their just due. They should have lost today to the Redskins. Look at the San Francisco 49ers. They're not absolutely dominating teams. There are a couple of games where they looked a little vulnerable. So the thing is, everybody wants to pile on us because it's the popular thing to do. But I'm telling you, all these other teams, the Eagles, the Niners, they're going to get their just due. They're going to get it. I mean, we saw the Miami Dolphins get their just due. Okay, everybody was going against Buffalo, saying Buffalo is trash. They're this, they're that, after they lost to the Jets opening night, Sunday night. And the Bills have been on a straight tear. They humbled the fuck out of the Miami Dolphins, who crushed the Broncos 70-20 last week. They humbled their fucking asses. The NFL can humble you, and the Cowboys had to deal with that shit last week. The NFL is the most humbling game in this country. One of the most humbling games in the world. You're riding high one week, and then the next week you get crushed. That's what happened to us. That's what happened to the Dolphins. That's what happened week 1 for the Bills. Talented teams, sometimes they have a day where they just like fumble it all away. That's what happened to us last week. I hope that doesn't happen again for the remainder of the season. The Cowboys looked extremely dominant 3 out of the 4 games. Dak Prescott looked good. The defense, of course, looked spectacular. We just have to figure out a way to remedy those red zone issues. If we can do that, brothers, we can go far. Not calling Super Bowl, but we can actually make the NFC Championship game. I'm not even talking about winning it, but just making it. If we can just keep this shit together, brothers, we can make the NFC Championship game. All right, brothers, take heed. Peace.